the guys who can override their guababa, which doesn't mean that it's not there. They've done it so much that they can easily just override it. They are the exception and not the rule.
Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Conversation Capital with myself, your host, Ursula Mariani, and the voice of reason, Ubonga Bweta. Unjani sis?
Ngiyaphila sis, unjani?
Ngiyaphila. We need to learn Sevenda or something. I can always be unjani.
Sure.
Ne?
I agree.
Ndati.
Yebo.
Giving Masilel.
How's it?
Okay, Mar.
I'm great.
It's awkward because you speak Sotho and Given speaks Zulu. Why do I choose to switch the language? I don't know, but we're here now. Today we're chatting everything to do with the friends.
The friend zone. And separating it from
Platonic
relationships. Yes.
Which I think is super important. We spoke off air of me getting in one of my guy friends to do a topic around the friend zone.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a difficult thing because we they're not the same thing. Somebody that's in the friend zone is not necessarily in a platonic relationship.
Or someone in a platonic relationship is not necessarily in a friend zone.
Yes, that's what I rather meant to say. Yes. Excuse me, we just had lunch. And so, yeah. So we decided to have this conversation between the three of us and perhaps maybe Given take it away.
All right. So, let's start with explaining a platonic relationship. So that would basically be two people, a guy and a girl, who are in a relationship and there is no intention or communicated intention of the relationship going any further in terms of them becoming lovers or entering a place of becoming romantic. And this doesn't mean just because a relationship is platonic, it doesn't mean at any point of that relationship either of you or either of you don't get to a point where you think, what if? Right? Which, if you're a relationship between men and women, you're going to get that wondering, hey, what if, right? So that's a platonic relationship. So it's usually just referred to there not being any romance in that relationship. And then you get a friend zone. Whereas a friend zone, which is a bit complicated, but I'm first going to explain it very basic and very simple. And also a platonic relationship can exist in different contexts. So you can have a platonic relationship with someone who's like a youth leader at church, with someone who's your boss, with someone who is, it's just platonic. It's just a relationship that has the mutuality or the common ground is the friendship, and the context itself creates the common ground. So then you get a friend zone. A friend zone is when one of you has the intention of entering into a relationship with the other person. So, and then that the other person has placed you in the friend zone in that we're friends, right? Or in fact, a friend zone is something you don't need to be told that you're in a friend zone. Often you can actually just detect I'm in this person's friend zone. Mostly for us guys, and I think guys can correct me in the comments whether I'm right or wrong about this. But usually you find out by that girl coming to tell you about other guys that she has a crush on.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes how you can pick up that you're in a friend zone. And I suppose this is another thing we can touch on.
But girls are stupid, eh? Sometimes they're trying to make you jealous.
I suppose that's
so
actually...
you can open your eyes. Girls are,
Yeah, actually, that might be a good point.
The lens of a stupid girl.
And she is...
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. Guess who I have a crush on? It ain't you.
Yeah. So that's another way. But there are other ways in which women communicate that a person is in the friend zone. You're my brother. We're just friends. We're very good friends, And here's the thing. Just because you are, which can be confusing for guys, to be quite honest, being in the friend zone. Because often, and when you watch chick flicks and you're hearing women have conversations amongst each other, and in other times with you, they'll say things like, my ideal person is the type of person that who we would become friends before we form a relationship together, right? And as a result, guys, then it creates this little bit of a confusion where I am your friend, so I should be the ideal person to be in a relationship with you.
Yes.
Yes, and then a person would, or the guy would try to make their way out of that, but you end up not coming out of it. So then there also leaves the question of how deep is a serious friend zone? That now you've been friend zoned and you've been friend zoned for good. You get what I mean? It opens up yet another conversation.
Is it a friend zone when the person has not made their intentions to not be friends? Is that a friend zone?
Yes.
So if a gent comes up to you, ne, and we start as friends,
Yeah.
you've always just been my friend. Can't do when you're dying inside. Did I put you in the friend zone?
No, okay, I understand your question.
Yeah.
A friend zone is not women being bad.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm
There's-
saying
there's
is that a friend zone?
I understand
Can
exactly.
you claim that you are in the friend zone if you've never ever said, "I urge"?
Yes, you can. You can. So because
You
this
can
is
because
where
you get they're my brother, they're my what, you get
Yes,
all
yes.
You
these
never
signals.
said you don't want to be a brother. My argument is, person given as a married man, Tabo walks up to you, Bonga, and you guys start a friendship, right? And you guys are good friends. Kanti Tabo doesn't want to be a friend, but Tabo has never said they don't want to be. Can Tabo claim to his friends and say, Bonga friends on me? No, he cannot.
Yes, this is the part where we're saying the friend zone is not as, it's a bit of a complicated dynamic, right? Because I could have developed feelings for you in the process of us being in a friendship. That still counts as
But
being
friend zoned is, I'm not interested. Can we be
no,
friends?
that's the thing. You see, that's why I was saying
Then no, we need to
initially.
establish what this is because that's what I know a friend zone to be. If you do not shoot your shot
Yeah.
and I put you in the friend zone after
Yes.
your shot, it cannot be the friend zone. Your intentions have not been made clear that you don't want to be a friend. So for me, that simply can't
Okay,
be friend. Friend zone is where you are put.
Let me say it like this, and Bonga can give her perspective, right? The reason why I would say that's not necessarily that can be a friend zone is this. When first of all, the first aspect of it is that a person who comes to you might still be building the confidence to ask you out. And you, in the process of them doing so, you place them in the friend zone, which doesn't make you a bad person, which I do feel is important to communicate. Because there are guys who think of girls as being like, I don't know, disrespectful that you've placed me in a friend zone. You get what I mean? So you're not necessarily first of all, you're not being a bad person in doing so. And you're doing so unknowingly because you don't know that there's anything there, right? But by definition, that is you putting someone in a friend, even though they didn't yet have the courage. So here's my point.
Guys.
Here's my point.
Friend zone.
Yes.
Is that what you guys say?
Yes. So the friend zone.
I think you, which is a bit unfair. You are making it black and white.
Yes.
It's not black and white.
It's a complicated dynamic.
Yes, it's not black and white. And
It's a complicated
you
dynamic.
are making it black and
Ngamanye
white.
amagama, guys are allowed to have ikwababa. That's fine.
I understand.
Getting to know you allows me to. Here's.
I fully understand.
Yes, let's
I'm
look at
saying,
it.
But can you claim to your guy friends?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
No, this is why you see, Ursh. This is why I'm saying.
put you in the friend
This is
zone,
why
though.
I'm saying the friend zone is not. This is why I was mentioning this earlier. You being in the friend zone doesn't make the girl the bad thing, because if I'm going to report you to the guys, do you see what I'm saying? Now I'm like, I want her, but she's placed me in the friend zone. It's as though you did a bad thing.
For me, it's simple. Why I say it's simple is because there are many things in our lives where no one has to say that thing exactly for it to be like that. Why I'm saying this, let me try and make it simple. You don't have to say someone is in the friend zone explicitly, or I don't want you explicitly, but they get the signals that they are in the friend zone by what you do. Telling them about another guy, calling them my brother, calling them your best friend. They don't have to ask you out to know they're in the friend zone. You'd never say yes to someone who you view as a brother at that point.
Yes.
You're
also,
not going to
Ursh,
take him.
Consider this. You're assuming your argument is you can't come and claim I put you in the friend zone if you never made your intentions clear. At what point did we become friends? Remember in the last episode we had the brief discussion about this. You said you would like to have someone become your friend, and then from there you become lovers. at what point do we become friends if I made my intentions clear to begin with? At some point, a
not
friendship
saying-
has to form.
Don't misconstrue my words.
Yeah.
I'm saying we can be friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? And from that friendship, you could be like, hey man, Ursh, how's our friendship? Yeah.
Okay.
And, have that courage and whatever. And then great.
Having started from a friendship.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you don't say that,
Mm-hmm.
you can't claim I put you in the friend zone.
No, here's the thing, Ursh.
The truth is, then you've just got guababa.
No, Ursh. The two can coexist. Remember,
Yes.
things don't always have to be this or that.
Yeah.
I could both be in a friend zone and have guababa. A friend zone exists independent of whether someone has courage to ask you out or not.
Okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend zone exists independently on its own. Someone can make his intentions known and you put them in a friend zone.
That's when you're in the friend zone.
Someone cannot be you cannot make their intentions known and you place them in a friend zone.
Yeah.
And mind you, a friend zone is not necessarily to mean that a girl is bad or you can't come out of the friend zone or whatever the case
but
may
we
be.
are saying that there is a difference between being friends and being put in the friend zone. I guess.
No, being friends is a friend zone.
Yeah.
But it's getting into it's a friend zone. The reason it's called a friend zone, Ursh, the reason it's called a friend zone is because you have made me, you've categorized me as part of those friends that you would never consider.
You are my friend.
That's the friend
There's
zone.
Nothing.
Maybe this is the part where a friend zone versus platonic friendship needs to be differentiated for me.
Yes.
Because that's what makes them different. Friend zone is Akino Jola Loena, I can only offer you friendship for me. And then there's friendship. Right? For me, those two are two different things. There's friendship just for nobody wants to get out. Or as far
nobody wants to get
yeah,
Here's the
or
thing,
as
Ursh.
far as to the knowledge of at least one party,
Yeah.
nobody wants to get out.
Yes.
Once one of you or both of you know that somebody here wants to get out,
Yeah.
that's when we start talking about friend zone and not
Your platonic
friendship.
friends are part of the friend zone.
Yeah, they are part of your friend zone.
Because you're not dating them.
Let's rather say it like this, Ursh. Every guy who's your friend is in a friend zone.
Yes.
However, the ones that friend zone does not benefit are the ones who want to come out. But all of them are in the friend zone. So a platonic relationship is a friend zone, but not all friend zone guys
Want to get
want to get out of
Yes.
the friend zone.
Yes.
That's why they call it a friend zone. It's all my
for the purpose
friends.
of moving on from this point that we are currently debating.
Yes.
I'm gonna say okay, but know that I don't agree.
Okay, that's fine. And here's another thing, ne? This
My
is where
understanding is that there's a friendship.
yeah.
We are both friends.
That's
We both want to be friends. We both never wanted to be anything else. We are friends.
okay.
Nobody's in the friend zone.
Here's the thing, Ursh.
Friend zone is one of
It's
us.
just being difficult.
She is. And at the same time, Ursh, you're also operating under heavy assumption, right?
Yeah.
You're operating under the assumption that your platonic relationships are people who have never considered you as a romantic partner. And I can guarantee you
That's not true.
that's not true. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of the people you had in that guys, let me not.
I can agree with what you're saying.
Yes.
I can agree that you never know fully somebody. Even a female friend can be actually putting an eye there. You never know.
Yes.
Those are my friends.
It's different.
They're not in the friend
context,
zone. For
the
me,
context.
you only enter into the friend zone when the intention that I don't want to be here has been made. Then you're in the friend zone.
Okay.
You have been placed somewhere where you don't want to be. Otherwise, then it's just friendship.
Here's the thing, Ursh. A friendship is the friend zone. That's what a friendship is. Just don't get lost in the fact that this one we're calling a platonic relationship, this one we're
this
calling
one
a friend.
wants to get
Here's the reason. Every guy you meet, if you meet him, you think he's a cool guy, you're gonna place them in the friendship category. You understand what I'm saying? My point is, here's my point.
If you 0 to 100 real quick.
Here's my point. The reason why it's important to have that understanding that a guy who is your friend is in a friend zone. The friend zone doesn't mean you want to date me and I don't want. The friend zone just means Uguti, I'm in the
friend.
category of people you wouldn't consider specifically because I'm one of your friends. That's all. You wouldn't consider me a romantic partner simply because you've put me in the category of people, guys who are your besties, or guys who are your part of the girls, or guys who are your brothers. I'm in this category. I'm one of them, including the ones who have no intention to get out. I'm one of those. That's where I am. When are you just looking at the zone? The zone just refers to area. That's
All friends.
all of friends. That's where I am. You see, let's say for example, let's say you have friend A. They have no intentions of getting with you. Then you have friend B. He has intentions of getting with you. When you consider them friends, you place them in the same place, right? A collection of friends. Now,
collection
the
of
thing
friends.
that makes this one in a friend zone is the fact that you wouldn't consider him because he's in this pack. You've placed him with this one. That's the only, because you wouldn't consider him for that reason. You get what I mean? So he's in the friend. Okay, she disagrees. It's fine. Let's move on. It's fine. Let's move on. It's fine. Let's move on. Yeah.
Have you
So-
ever been in the friend zone?
Yes, definitely. So here's the thing now. I think this is why I would have loved for us to be on the same page with it, because as we continue discussing the friend zone, we're going to get into those discussions where, like, a person who is in a friend zone, for one, which is why I was saying it's a bit of a complicated dynamic, because just because I met you, first of all, I could have met you and then developed the courage to ask you out later, or the feelings could have developed later, which are things that happen. We're human beings. They don't have to be black and white, right? It can't be just because you didn't make your intentions known, then you're not in a friend zone necessarily, right? You can be in a friend zone without the girl even knowing that you're necessarily interested. And if that's how we're defining a friend zone, then I've been in a friend zone.
But you were friends with someone who didn't know that.
Yes. That I was considering them a partner at any point in my life. And you could argue that I've placed people in a friend zone. Placed women in a friend zone.
Have you ever been in a friend zone?
Akadlali kanjalo Bonga.
Why? Mama strikes once.
Awubonga akadlali. She
Mama
strikes while it's
once.
hot.
Yo.
Yeah, no. my colleague was saying, have I asked out someone before? And I was saying I haven't, but I make very obvious cues. So I like your picture from 2008 or on Facebook or something. I mean, that's pretty obvious for me. Or and he asked me like what I do, and I'm like, I like your picture from my 19 mamang on Facebook.
I once slid in the DMs.
Or on your pictures.
You'll never forget that experience. Ne?
It was bad.
On your pictures, I'll comment with hearts and stuff. Or if you post a place, I'll be like, oh, next time, please take me. That's an obvious one. So yeah. But anyway, I digress.
But you've never been like, I think I like you. Unalo kwa baba.
Yeah, I do.
Bar.
Oh, wena, please. So I will never. I've never been upfront to say, hey, I'd like us to date, but I will give hints to the guy so that he takes the move. And I think it is Gwababa. Like,
I don't think it's Gwababa.
you don't think so?
Not necessarily. I actually think you giving the hints in itself, is you stepping out of Ikwababa. First of all, I think everybody has Ikwababa naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has. There are very few people who are just able to immediately override those nerves. It's like saying performing on stage, hosting an event, or whatever the case may be. The nerves are there. That is Ikwababa, the resistance that you have to overcome. You get people who have Ikwababa on first contact, but the more I get to know you, or if I meet you within a certain context, the Gwababa is not as much, right? And then you get people who, they're willing to take the risk on the first date, or they have friends that pressure them to do so on the first date. I can say with absolute certainty, I do have Ikwababa, especially if I'm going to ask a person out on a first date. Let me not say a first date. Let's say we're at an event and it's the first time we're meeting. I do have Ikwababa in that context. But what tends to help which is why I'm saying commending Ubonga. What tends to help is the woman showing interest, discernible interest. Right? This is, when a woman shows discernible interest, then it gives me the confidence to then say, hey, let me take your number, then we can have drinks sometime, and then take it from there. But Ikwababa is standard. It's like performing.
I think, you're right. Even with dropping hints. Yeah, I know Bonga actually had Nagwababa. Because I'm the type of, this is my hint.
What is that even?
That's my hint.
What is even that?
That's me hinting. This one time I'm on a video called Bonga and I'm like, yo, I see this hot guy. I'm like, watch, I'm going to walk up to him. And then I'm like, I'm walking past him. She's like, so? I'm like, I got really close.
But I think that's, what's another thing I'm thinking, right? With our back and forth in terms of trying to define what Ikwababa is, and I'd love to hear people's definition of it in the comments. But I'm realizing that perhaps also there's a privilege for women where you guys, first of all, I do think, Uguti, you guys can more often find yourselves in the friend zone, in the sense that, right, and of which is not something that's spoken of very often. But like, if a guy doesn't ask you out, you basically don't have much of a choice, right? In our current social standing.
Sure.
If a guy has decided, Uguti, no, this one, and here's the thing about it, right? You can assume that a guy is not asking you out because maybe he doesn't like you, or whatever the case may be. Or he just finds you intimidating.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing about us guys, right? Which is why the conversation we started with, when I was talking about how a person can start off trying to build up that confidence before they actually ask you out. You might think that a guy doesn't like you and Umuntu is busy fighting the confidence. There are many different reasons, right? Where what I've often seen is that women tend to land on one reason. It's because he doesn't like me, or it's because he has a partner. But it's a very complicated thing. There are many different reasons for different guys. And this one I'm quite confident in. The guys who can override their guababa, which doesn't mean that it's not there. It's like salespeople and selling. They've done it so much that they can easily just override it.
100%. Okay, finish your sentence. Sorry.
They are very few. They are the exception and not the rule. Is basically what I wanted to say.
I find that guys that come in hot with a lot of confidence become your options as a girl, but they're often not the people to take seriously because they actually just do it so often. So the most confident guys are usually just hitting on you for the sake of hitting on you because it's what they do.
Yes. Right.
Versus the one who really gets anxious to hit. That's the one that you should actually take seriously. And hence why a girl would often take more seriously a guy that's been in the friend zone, because you know that for him to say this, he's mulled on it for a while.
A bit of a while.
In comparison to somebody who's just like, ubizi man, wapapa. So yeah. But it's always so interesting around the whole issue with men and guababa, because the more I grow, the more I see that it's a very real thing.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, it's a very real thing that I think at first I thought affected few men, which now I'm learning affects many men.
Yes.
Most men.
Yes.
Almost all men.
Yep.
Given this is not friend zone topic, but what I'm also realizing with men, a lot of men, or maybe is it showing my experience, a lot of men don't rate themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you. I was literally also about to get to
guys, that. Like, guys think a lot of girls are out of their league.
Thank you so much.
It's ridiculous.
Bona. Thank you so much.
It's crazy. Like, a lot of guys think they are you're out of their
league. Yes.
But I think part of it also has to do with just the expectation of society in terms of a provision. I think a lot of men rate themselves based on provision, and when they look at you, they don't think they can meet whatever.
We're not sure if you're agreeing or
agreeing.
No, she's agreeing deeply.
Okay.
So a
Men,
lot
yeah.
of guys rate themselves, and when they look at you, like this always shocks me personally. But like just you working and just being independent is scary for a lot of men. I don't know. They think women earn better or what, but he could be in a much better position than you, or maybe let's say equal to you.
Yeah.
But he will still think you're out of his league
Yes.
based on the fact that you can provide for yourself.
You know what it is, ne? It's the mere fact that I'm the one who needs to make the move. It puts a lot of pressure. And as a result, you're constantly measuring yourself against. So you're always so when you have to view yourself from the perspective of the one who has to do the hunting, right? The one who has to make the move. You think of the dynamic of asking out way more differently than the person who needs to be asked out, right? And I think that's one of the major reasons why guys tend to not rate themselves, because the move, it's like, let's say maybe, and I'm using this for only for the sake of analogy, right? For the sake of making my point. If I'm a hunter and I have so many years of experience hunting, I'm gonna start by looking at the easy targets. And that really matters because I don't have the confidence to go after an elephant or, to kill a cow with one hand. It's people with experience that do that. So confidence is such a big thing for guys. Yes. A guy who you knew when you were younger, who didn't do much with girls, and then you guys grow up, he gets money, he gets a car. All of a sudden, it's not that some women weren't interested in him. The thing is, he started confidence can change the way you view the world. Yes. And the way you view women themselves, right? Yeah, because you can imagine if you put yourself in a guy's shoes, like from high school, you've seen girls cry over that one guy with the gold tooth. I always like using that joke, right? You literally sat amongst girls and watched them talk about that guy. And you went and looked at yourself in the mirror and you weren't that guy. Like Mina, from what I can remember in high school, and I don't know about other guys' experience, there was always like 3 guys that girls went crazy over. And you usually weren't one of them. And as a result, you started measuring yourself up to those guys. And those guys had confidence, they had the gold, they had the shiny shoes, whatever, the charisma. And a lot of us develop our charisma the older we get. It's not in high school. So as a result, when you leave high school, and then for me, I think this is one of the things that contribute to men cheating a lot. When you leave high school, there's so much shifts, or even varsity actually, so much shifts. You get attention from women that you never thought you'd ever get attention from. You start realizing, women actually do find different types of men interesting. Those concepts are introduced to you afterwards. Like, Nami Ganti, I'm a person who people can find interesting or cute, or whatever the case may be, right? Whether it's through, more often than not, you find it's the job you have, the car you drive, the house you've just bought, that builds up your confidence. And then you start, the places you're visiting, the way women start speaking to you changes altogether.
I think it's definitely both boys and girls, because as soon as you reflect on high school, I wasn't a pretty girl in high school. Well, not that, but I wasn't one of the girls that the guys went crazy over. So as soon as you reflected on your journey, I think many people can relate to that, because at the end of the day, in high school, let's say in a high school of 1,000 kids, it is only 3. So meaning that 997 of us grow up feeling like we're not that. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you, but you know what makes
guys, I think the experience for guys is different though. It's different because girls will always get pursued.
That's exactly it. Someone, even if
You're speaking to one of the 3.
even if the attention, no, Ursh, even if the attention is not wanted, I can guarantee you, your varsity journey. If we can talk about how many times you got asked out in varsity and how many times
varsity was different, yeah.
Exactly. So that's part of the experience from high school to varsity. Where things tend to level out is after we've all left varsity, right? Things then start to level out a bit, particularly for guys. Because here's the thing about the difference between women and men. Men don't get any, not even someone saying you're so cute, or the whole high school life, the whole.
I hear what you're
whole
saying.
of.
Yes, no. In that context, because even as I'm saying, I'm speaking in the context of the high school, but you walk out of high school, you're walking in the mall, and somebody's like, oh, pretty girl.
Yes.
Whereas boys don't get that.
Exactly.
So yes,
exactly.
I hear what you're
so
saying.
that dynamic is very different. So we think differently because we are in the position of always know. And when you're a person who, it's much like you looking for work, right? A person who is seeking work will view them. You're always criticizing yourself because you're the pursuer of the job.
Yeah.
In any position where you're the pursuer, you are constantly critiquing yourself. Like you're constantly measuring, ish, my forehead, ish, my this, ish, I don't have that, because you are the one who needs to be said yes to. And I'm not saying that women don't go through those things.
Yes.
I'm just trying to explain that the dynamic is a bit different for us, which is what often you find gets guys into friend zones.
Kwababa.
Not just, well, you can sum it up to Ikwababa.
Now I want men to take a bet on themselves. Go ask out that girl you think.
I'm telling
I also
you,
think so,
I'm
guys,
telling
in 2025.
Ubonga knows imfihlakalo, Ubonga, like really.
Honestly, guys,
She knows the secret.
You see? She likes saying Zulu what, but she doesn't know Inflicted yin.
I know Mfihlakalo.
Then why did you
I
say
was
what?
saying what because I couldn't hear you. I heard Mfihlakalo.
You
So I was
guys.
like, what is it?
You guys.
Loser. And you continue.
Nice save, Ursh.
Guys need to take bets on themselves.
Yes.
Like you
yes.
need to start asking out girls and stop thinking.
No, I also
someone
agree.
is
In
out of your league.
2025, ask that girl out.
Honestly, I know you guys. Given always makes this analogy. You are being declined all your life, guys. We get tired. But no, man.
You get tired, hey?
Like guys really are scared to ask out girls.
But girls, what would your advice to girls be? Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. You must show a guy.
Yeah, you must show
Snowfall.
interest. If you see a guy like
now honestly, na area ngihlula.
Of showing interest. You know what, ne? I'm gonna say this a bit bluntly, ne? I think girls have incredible pride. And here's the thing. I remember once advising a friend of mine, Nuguti, dude, she did it once. She went and tried, not even shot her shot, but just to express interest. And she felt how humiliating it is for the first time. And like it just gave her that shock. And then in my mind, as she's telling me the story, because I was encouraging her, she had a guy she liked. They used to stand outside and talk after church. And I used to give her that advice, Guti, just make the joke. When are you going to ask me out for coffee? How now, eh? How now, eh? You know what I mean? And the thing is that...
As you're saying it in my heart, I'm like, I'll never do that.
You see what I'm saying? And it's the same. It's the same as this thing where I'm really thinking about it a lot now that I'm starting to realize just how serious of a thing it is. When I was young, I just thought it was a joke. You know when you watch sitcoms and women just wouldn't apologize and they just made a joke of it? I'm starting to realize how serious that is. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the meme, Bong. I don't know. I doubt Ursh has seen it because it circulated a lot on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Where there's someone posted the word apology and said, yeah, women, since you know everything, what is this? And then people were responding, the study of apples.
Yes.
Women were responding. Guys, I'm starting to realize women actually do have an issue with apologizing. This house can burn. Let's rather go in the bedroom and I give you some.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, you're not good. I genuinely think women just have pride. And it's humiliating to have to let a man know that you're interested. And I can guarantee you now, there's a lot of women who've missed out on guys that were interested. Because here's another thing. I had a colleague of mine who I made her aware of this. I'm like, it's actually, you've mentioned this as well, Ursh. She doesn't realize that she has a face that's very unwelcoming. It feels, even I felt that way, and I knew her. There were moments where I just felt like, yeah, she don't want to talk to me. And a lot of women feels that way when they look at you, right? Even though they're interested, but they just have this look, man, where you're like, the friend is smiling at me better.
So little 2025 women must be...
Really 2025, really in general.
Men must bet on themselves more in 2025.
And women must show their...
Relaxing.
Yeah, because to be fair...
Smile.
Because to be fair, also, It is that lack of confidence that ends you up in the friend zone to begin with.
Yes. Guys need to bet on themselves a lot more.
On that note, I must say, Mina, I have a lot of female friends, right? I have quite a few female friends. And I'm talking people I've been friends with for over a decade. And we have proper friendships. Like those friendships, I find them incredibly valuable. So in us having the conversation about the friend zone, about the dynamics of how you end up in a friend zone, guys need to be more confident. Girls need to also show interest. And because here's the thing, at the end of the day, everyone is taking a risk. I'm taking the risk that you're going to say no to me, which is extremely humiliating. Guys, let me tell you the story. The first girl I ever wanted to tell that I like you was a girl I already know really liked me. I spent the whole freaking night practicing that script. The whole night I couldn't sleep. Kwababa, I could feel it I remember I was sleeping at my aunt's house. I remember. And you know that thing, I don't know if it still happens now. Back in the day when you're the teacher's kid, there's a lot of girls that are interested in you, right? Right? Because you're the teacher's kid.
Oh, is it?
Down. Yes. Mtana mistress. Yeah, don't play here. I had a girl in my mother's class who used to lie and tell people that we're dating. Because teacher's kid. Ngazodlala wena une-laptop. You know what I mean? Yeah. I already knew that this girl liked me. I remember her, Constance. I'm sure if she ever watches this, she'll have a good laugh. Like, I found her...
Constance was claima.
And here's another thing that I found her incredibly intimidating. Even after her and I started having a thing, like I did it every time I went to meet her, I needed to prepare a script.
Oh.
I'm going to say this, then she says this, then I'm going to say this, then she says this. Like, I promise you, it is incredibly crippling. And it's not even a thing to you as a specific, it's a human thing.
Yeah.
Being afraid is a human thing.
I like what you said about even like stuff like speaking or presentations. Because you do feel the nerves. You just overcome them quicker.
Exactly.
And the fact that you do it over and over again hasn't taken away the nerves. You just overcome it quicker.
Exactly.
So it really is a human thing.
So throw hints, Ursula. Orange, bah!
I nagina crush.
Yeah, but anyways, I was getting into...
Sorry, can I just say, with regards to that, there's also just training that girls receive.
Yes.
You're taught not to be interested in boys.
I hear you.
You know,
I
and
hear
like
you.
you should be this thing that never has a crush, and this husband miraculously falls into your lap.
Absolutely
And
true.
not that you wanted him. Haven't you heard the stories?
He was after me.
He was after me.
Yeah.
And I was just looking, I was just doing my thing.
Yeah.
Every woman tells the story like that.
Yeah.
I was just doing my thing, and he was just pestering me so much. So
Exactly.
we're taught that that's the narrative you're supposed to. Even every fairy tale. Where have you ever seen a fairy tale where the girl drops a hint? Princess in Disney. Ain't no hints.
It's only these modern ones.
Oh, banal hints. The girls nowadays are dropping
I
hints.
think the modern ones are.
I grew up in the time where Disney, the princess doesn't drop a hint.
Absolutely.
Right? The
Yeah.
man just does what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so definitely there's a bit of a tug of war in your mind. You're trying to be a modern woman. But then it's like, but this is how I was brought up, and this is
And then
not
Hunali mix ya pride nyana mo.
right nyana da. Can't apologize nyana da.
Yeah, ki cocktail.
So
nje.
jale cocktail raise some
Yeah, but I also wanted to touch on the issue of platonic relationships, right? Because I don't know if you've seen the meme videos going around of a man and a woman cannot be friends. No, it can't happen. I don't know if you've seen those.
No.
Ish. But I know you got me.
But there's many.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So those are a bit of a controversy where I think for us, younger people, millennials and younger, we understand that dynamic can exist. And those relationships, even though, I mean, I don't understand it, right? Because I think I do get that there's a generation where they understood that if a girl and a boy are friends, that something is going to go wrong, right? Whereas I feel like, and you guys can correct me or share your view as well. Whereas with our generation, we completely understand that men and women can be friends and there be a mutual respect within those relationships. Even if either of you ever at whatever point of the relationship picks up feelings, it's not, if whether they're mentioned or not, it's not a a big factor.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean. The relationship just continues. Yeah, the relationship just goes on. Yeah, what's your thought on it?
My thoughts on friendships.
Platonic friendships.
Oh, but you know my thoughts.
She has a whole array of guy friends.
Yes, array
So-
of guy friends.
But I do think there's a degree to which ngikhuluma ngawe ke manje. Or rather, let me say it generally.
Yeah, now say it generally,
Yeah, let me say it generally. Ne? I do think ukuthi women sometimes can be naive in assuming that the guys who've respected them throughout a platonic relationship have never at any point wanted to come out of it or considered. I've actually had a conversation with one of my friends, a female friend. Like, there was a time when I was considering you, and she's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, for real. It's just a few things, nje, but otherwise, I actually did consider you at some point."
You see that
and
it's just a
friendship
few-
continued.
See that it's just a few things. I hate that.
What do you
Why
mean?
do you hate that?
Why do you hate it?
Because it's like I was considering you, but it's just I don't like your walk.
No, it wasn't like that at all, actually.
I'm just
Also,
making
the few things could be that I met someone else, or the few things could be whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's okay for someone not to like a few things about you.
True, but I don't think it's right for somebody to walk up to you and say, "Hey, it's Akshela." But le kiss yako
No,
iyangibona.
I think you're reading.
think-
I think you're reading it wrong.
Yeah,
I think you're reading it wrong. Yeah.
My opinion on platonic friendships, Bonga's already said I've got an array of guy friends. I really do. I always believe that because I grew up with an older brother who's 2 years older than me, and he's been my best friend my whole life, that every space I've entered into, school, high school, primary school, high school, I always looked for my Theo.
I hear you.
You know, working life now, I've got my Theo. I always have my Theo. And I couldn't have put my finger on it. I can't remember who it was. It could have been my mom, but somebody that's known me for a very long time said, "You always have this one close guy friend that never gets out of being a guy friend." And then I had to sit with it for a while, like, why do I do this? And then I realized it's because it mimics what I know very well. That I've got this older brother who takes care of me. I had a best friend in high school, a guy who would bring me lunch tin every day. Because he was a day scholar, I was a boarder. To the point where his mom would pack double because he knew that this person eats with Ursula.
Oh.
I'm not going to say his name, but I know you know yourself, macho me, you know?
Yeah.
And so in that sense, like I've always had this protector guy figure in my life.
Yes.
Somebody else this year being 2024, said to me, your husband's not going to like this. And it landed.
Okay.
It landed for the first time in a long time because I have exceptionally close relationships with these people.
Yes.
In the sense that if my tire bursts, first person, dad, can't get dad, Theo, number 3 will be this person. So you can imagine now when husband is in place, this they either need to step up and take this third place position, or it could be a bit tricky.
I hear you.
Because I really always have my brother in whatever industry or where I spend most of my time. I'm a girl's girl. I've got a lot of girlfriends, but I always have one particular guy in my life at a time who's like a very close guy friend who I confide in a lot, and usually more guy related things that I talk to them about. And so I'm definitely team platonic friends. Around me being naive, around my platonic friends not wanting to be platonic friends, I have not experienced it, given the truth. I have not experienced a guy friend switching up on me.
Okay.
And saying I'm interested. So I can't speak to that. I can only speak to what I know.
Okay.
All my guy friends have been guy friends till the end.
The best example, these ones. These are the naive ones.
I think I would say so,
Perhaps.
to be honest with you. You know why I'm saying this, ne? Now I'm speaking to also just, let me say, the truth to what those videos are saying, the ones that say that you can't have male and female relationships. The part of that is true is the fact that for us as guys, the experience of having a female friend is very different than the experience of a female having a guy friend. The reason is because at all parts and stages of our friendship, I am still a guy and a guy is a pursuer. So a pursuer is always like, you're literally, every time you see a deer, hey, go and pet his bum, Sam. Hey, Sindile!
Yo,
Sindile!
Hlola, but give it-
Hey, Sindile, lo malalo! Hey, le tang patang spam sam. You see what I'm trying to say?
Okay, yes.
So that's a very, very, very different dynamic. And I think, and I understand where these guys are coming from, right? Because they know themselves. Because Nabo themselves, they are pursuers. They know it's kind of like when you're looking for a car, to buy a car. When you have the money to buy a car, you constantly start noticing cars. Like, ish, that one, ish, this one. And then you develop an interest for a specific one and you start spotting it. Our minds work different. We're wired differently because we've always known that we would have to do the asking. So we've always asked ourselves, like, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? And that's not to say that it's taking away from the platonic relationship and how authentic it was. You understand what I mean?
Given, don't you think that? Oh man, and yeah, I am always going to be this person. It's okay. Don't you think that this is the human experience because of how we've been wired to view life so much in boy and girl, romance, where our life in society is so circles so much around ujolo, romance, all the stories around history, this and that. Romance plays such a huge. Have you ever watched a movie that had nothing to do with Ujolo, but there's always that character to show that he had a partner?
Yeah.
But it's about a hero.
Yeah.
Spider-Man being an example.
Yeah.
But the girl has to be there because it adds some sort of value. Romance always
Yes.
adds some sort of value to our lives. It's such a big factor. Because as you're saying that, I'm thinking about recently a friend of mine said, "Oh, I'm so tired of this phase. I can't wait to meet my husband." I said, "Why?" She says, "I hate going to brides and thinking, oh, is this him? Is this my forever? Oh, is this him? Is this my forever?" She's like, "I just can't wait to just meet my husband finally."
Yeah. Yeah.
And be settled because I'm tired of this era. And so as you're speaking, I'm relating it to the women in my life that
Yeah.
feel like they're also constantly being like, "Oh my gosh, is this the next romantic partner? Is this, I just feel like we're in this world that is just so, the story is around romance, and that's why when people meet you, are you married? It becomes such a defining question. There's certain things that are defining questions. Class, and with class comes romance. So it will be like, what job do you do? Are you married or not married? These are certain things that categorize people, and I wonder what the world looks like without that.
So I think it's an issue of what came first, the chicken or the egg. And the reason I say that is because the media sometimes reflects what's already happening in society. So media picked up that people love relationships. And if you think about it, it's procreation, dude. It fosters procreation. It's the most important thing human beings can do, right? Yeah, you understand? So relationships are a huge part of who we are. So as a result, I mean, also consider also the modern dynamics as well. Like the way that we live now is that we're so much closer to each other than we used to be in the past. Like before, people were so much further. And I'm talking like, the Molom Shobowam ad where my neighbor was there, like there, and I'm here. So then as societies developed, those of us who live in the urban areas, we've moved closer to each other. So we're in for example, there's a thing in spaces of let me not say academia as well, but also spaces that have to do with a lot of research where people go to work to their 9 to 5s and then they go to conferences or they work a lot, hectic stress work in the office. Like you find a lot of those buildings that hey, who's you up Ponyakos? Like,
Yo, given like speaking about this,
You understand? No, the thing I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make, Uguti, it's that the fact that they work so close with each other, they do research together, they travel to conferences together. It's very hard for something not to happen. And the only point I'm making in that is to say it has sort of further made people more relationship and I suppose also sex orientated, right? But to basically just answer your question simplistically, I think it was an issue of human beings have always cared about relationships from the time before media, from Shaka times, meeting at the river. That came from relationships. That song existed way before Spotify and streaming and what. We've always cared about, because we knew it's always been the most important thing you could do. So as a result, I think human beings, as far as relationships with male and female, you just always have to have parameters, if I can call them that. You always have to have parameters and ways in which you respect one another's relationships, because just because someone asks you out, it doesn't mean they don't respect your friendship. You get what I mean? Which is,
that's why I was saying, like, I don't, maybe because I've never been in that position, but I don't, like, we need to move from to a point where it's okay that you've liked me and it doesn't ruin our relationship.
yes,
Why is it awkward after that when I express I like you?
yes,
You know?
yes,
Yeah, like you said, it doesn't mean I disrespect you.
exactly.
The feeling is not mutual, yes, and it's fine. Let's continue in the friendship. Unless the person who was the pursuer is like, okay, I can't handle. Now that it's out there,
That's
I can't
different.
handle.
That's
Yeah.
different. Yes, that's very different. Which I think there's the clip I once sent you, Ursh, and you we spoke about it quite a bit, where this guy was saying there's a way in which you can let someone down, right? I think women are not, and I'm not talking about people who are harassing you. I'm not talking about people you don't want to, like, they just keep coming and you're just pushing them away. I'm talking about someone who respects you, someone who understands you're a human being and that you have autonomy, comes and asks you out. I don't think women are taught how to turn down those men. Like, listen, you're a great guy. I like this and this about you, but I don't think I am at, or whatever the phrasing is. Because remember that video was focusing on how this woman was able to turn this guy down by way of complimenting him. Like, I think I would fall too in love with you. Like, you have all your things. It's turning me down, but you're still boosting my confidence. Like, yeah, man. You know what I mean? So I don't think that's a conversation that's had often.
No shame. Linda, to be honest, I don't take lightly that when somebody does approach you, you need to respect it with all, whether that person was punching and you can see they hit on everyone. It doesn't matter. It takes a lot for somebody to hit on you. And ukshela takes a lot. And honor that. Respect it. Even if you're going to turn somebody down.
Yes.
It needs to be with a lot of kindness and respect, because there are women that do some funny stuff.
Yes.
And they really break men's self-esteem.
Yes.
And then we want the society of very good men, but you're out just saying, and then when you can't do that.
Kapo, nalwena.
Exactly.
Bono hata bukai. Such vile girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I absolutely agree with that. Women do also need to learn, when you're turning somebody down, how are you doing it? Respect and honor the bravery it takes to hit on someone.
Exactly.
Why do I feel like we're going to get into trouble for this statement of saying turn down men in a better way? There'll be some clip saying, why must we brush men's egos?
Oh, no, definitely. Oh, no, definitely.
We're going to get into trouble for
Don't
this
you
one.
think, though, that take it in full context? In full context, we're saying that when somebody comes and says, hey, I like you,
It's not easy.
it's not an easy thing to do. So you can take that short clip where I've just said one sentence, or whatever, and say, okay,
like Given said, we're not talking about men who are harassing you. We're talking about men who are respectfully
approaching you. Honor that it takes a lot of bravery to do that. Even men that get hit on by women, honor that this takes a lot of vulnerability. Be human. So Bonga, I don't know. I don't take back my statement. I say what I said.
No, I didn't expect us to take it
No,
back.
I agree with you. It's just you expect people to, because I think a lot of women generally have been told that men are bad, and they've seen examples of it, and thus have decided Uguti, men don't deserve to be considered.
Yes.
As a result, which is true. There are a lot of men who have wounded society, and then there are men who are doing their best to, be positive and make a positive impact and be a net good. And when I'm asking you out, I'm not asking you out because I disrespect you, I think of you as lesser. I'm genuinely taking a risk. I'm genuinely overcoming a whole lot of fear and hoping that I'm not too late that the sale is still there and I've not been, discontinued and put in the friend zone.
Guys, parting shots. Friendzone, Bonga.
Guys, 2025, you must be more forthcoming.
That's
Go
it,
for that
parting shot.
girl.
Also, can I just say, Bonga put on her lashes for half of this episode.
You see why I don't like lashes?
Bonga was just putting on lashes. It was so funny. She's like re-gluing and re-gluing.
See why I don't like
I wish so much that there was a camera on
That
her.
could show,
I was
innit?
laughing so much in my heart. Okay, you're saying, guys, be more forthcoming.
Yeah, and the girl who you think is out of your league, just try. You never know.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, I feel like guys are just scared for nothing.
People
These
must-
girls are desperate.
People must slide into your DMs.
Hey, I didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just in general.
Unless
Jay.
you are.
Yeah. Like just people I've always thought about that, actually, the thing that Ubonga says, Uguti, like, I think it's a conversation that women have to have with themselves as individuals. Like, what is it that makes you not take that risk of? Because we're all taking a risk. When guys are taking in terms of being rejected, guys are taking a bigger risk.
Yes.
Because Mina, I have to say the words. I have to humiliate myself before you. So all that's would be asked of you. And a lot of women do, I must be honest. Like I've once had a woman actually send me a note, write me a note. I was sitting at a mug and bean, write me a note and say, if you're single, if you have a partner, please ignore this. And she just walked away. I thought that was the most boss thing ever.
Can I say, every time Given tells a story, I'm reminded on how much men don't get hit on a lot.
Thank you. Because it's the only
Because
one I have.
It's the only one.
It's the only one I have.
Because as soon as Given says the story, I know you can relate to like just having many stories like that. Where it's like, okay, and then. But I think you told it 3 times before I realized the gravity of how much it weighs in your life. I remember there was this one time I went to a garage after 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
This guy says, every time you come in, I get shy to give you this letter. And he didn't write it. A fellow customer wrote it. But he had guababa just
give
to
it to
pass
you.
on a letter that a fellow customer, because I used to have a mole on one of my eyelids. I had it removed. This lady with the mole on her left eye. Whatever. He's like, and every time I see you, because you come in so often.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, I want to give it to you, but I get so shy because there's other customers. So that specific day, it was just the 2 of us in there.
Oh.
But I don't want to lie. That story doesn't have a lot of weight in my life. It was cute, whatever life goes on.
And you're done.
And you're
I
done.
know,
But-
Mina, to this day. To this day. Girl, if you're seeing this, you made my day.
You made me feel hot.
Yeah, no. Every time you tell that story, I'm always like, hey, men don't get hit.
No,
at
shame,
all.
dollar. By the way, there are those who do, though. There are
Yes.
those who do. Like women do. There are men that, I don't know if it's a matter of they feel they're more approachable or dude just hit her so hard she just feels he's worth the risk. But there are dudes who do get hit on.
Really, guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Woman.
First of all, dudes with just influence and fame,
Yes.
for one.
Yes. Given what I'm also seeing, ne?
Yeah.
With as we get older, women offer sex a lot.
Yes. Absolutely.
Women no, I don't want anything from you.
Yes.
Just that.
Yes.
That's also what I'm seeing a lot.
Yes. And I think it's because they also know they're going to get it.
Yes.
It's unlikely for them to be turned down.
Bonga, what are you telling me?
Ing.
What are you telling me? Yeah, so the story says so.
I sugar.
Bonga, would you hit on a guy direct, not through the corners?
I want to.
You want to? It's 2025 year.
I don't know.
I dare you to say your crush now. It's a
I
party.
have another story. There's this one girl who I was watching a film. Actually, this happened twice. But this one I think was a bit more unique. I was watching a film and then she came eating popcorn, sitting, there was an empty seat. She was on that side. And then she's busy eating a popcorn and she took them and she placed them between us. Boss move.
Next thing you
That's
reach
the
your,
subtle
Then
hint
it
I'm
was,
talking
yes,
about.
it was a
next
subtle
thing you reach
hint.
your hand to the popcorn, she's like, hey, Abuti.
I know, I reached, I ate. Ngadla, ngoba mnandi sabukela ifilimu. No shame, I must say.
Those
That
are
was
the ones
also
I'm talking
a
about.
subtle but
Yes.
boss move.
Very direct.
Very boss move.
Yeah, but if you miss that hint, it's on you.
It's on you. And Nae, she took a risk. I could have literally just looked at them like, Aibo wena. Uyangazi ngubani mina. Exactly.
Okay, guys. Literally, girls hit on boys more, boys hit on girls more. Girls accept.
Harry Freyaning.
You know what I mean?
I can't wait for the next episode. Having you on camera is going to be a blast. It's going to be an absolute blast. So, guys, we're chatting everything to do with the friend zone, this and that. I think today was a very fun episode. I definitely disagreed with their explanation. Friend zone versus platonic
It's
relationship.
because she has guy friends. She doesn't want to think of any of them wanting a.
Listen, I said what I
Doesn't.
said. Okay, and so that being said, leave your comments. I want to hear from you guys what you guys think. What you guys think the friend zone looks like. Da 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 da. And that was today's episode of the Conversation Capital. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. We also now have the option for you to super thanks.
To tip, yes.
To tip. I mean, we deserve some tips. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for supporting. For now, though, goodbye and God bless.